So this is what we have. And remember, like anytime you have to look at this aspect of if function, like what we did last time, remember, we realized that it is a very powerful tool in a sense that it will always help us, of course, to do what? To assist us to analyze our set, regardless, of course, of how huge the set is. And we saw it in our previous segment last time. So in the same spirit, of course, of continuation of this, I want us to consider the concept of Sumif function. See? So in this case, we will be looking at the concept of Sumif function. So we have Sumif function in Excel. How will it help us? And in this case, how will you always go about the same? How will you always go about that? Remember, we say that at this point, of course, for those who are looking at this, you realize that this knowledge will be very important, even for those who will be doing actually BDA in your next segment. See, for those who will be doing business data analytics in the next segment, then this concept that you're handling today is also very important and very ideal for us. So just make sure that at least you are keen in each and every detail that, of course, we'll be sharing today. So looking at the concept of Sumif function, what will we be required to understand when you're looking at it from the perspective of course, advanced Excel? So you realize that all the time, whenever we are considering the aspect of a Sumif function, you'll find that it will help us to sum numbers probably based on specific criteria. See, it will simply help us to sum numbers based on what? Based on specific criteria. This is what it will do based on specific criteria. Main element to understand, whereby you'll find that probably I want to sum up, say, like sales for a particular product, or maybe I want to determine the totals above a certain threshold. Then you'll find that the concept of summing will be very powerful. Other than just using the manual way of doing our case, you'll find that SUMIF will bring in a new element that we will be able to summarize our data very fast and, of course, get the results very fast. So what we need to do in this context is there are tasks that we need to achieve based on whatever that we've been asked there. See, so these are the tasks that I want us to achieve. And the concept that we're applying, of course, is the concept of SUMIF. So we want to determine the sum based on a specific criteria. And the criteria that we're looking at this point, it will be what you're given. So in this set, I believe that all of us, of course, we have the set. I believe all of us, we have that set. So I'm going to do. Remember, I've said, for those who are doing business data analytics, you guys are very lucky because whatever that you're doing here, almost part of it, you're going to get it, of course, in our BDA. See. A moment, sure. Okay. So once that has been mentioned, then I want us to start working. And in our case, we want to do as per what we are requested there. That would be our summary. Let us do a summary of monthly sales, daily sales, and as well as quarterly sales. So these are source data. This is our source data. These are source data. So we're going to learn two elements here. Number one, aspect of locking cells. And when you're talking about locking cells, in this case, in other words, you're looking at like you're freezing the cells. See, freezing in a sense that you command Excel to maintain the specific formula that you've adopted all through your workings. This is what, of course, advanced Excel or locking the cell will help us to do. So what I want us to do, I want us to perform these tasks here. Number one, we want to determine a summary of cells monthly, summary of cells daily, and summary of cells quarterly. The next stage would be, once we have this set, it will be very important to note that you might be having almost 10,000, 100,000, literally you might be having a very huge data set. You might be having a very huge data set that will be required to summarize your data on. You might be having a very huge data set. So the next item that will be required to do then would be, I need to prepare my quarterly cells, monthly and daily cells. We start with our months here, and we have what? The aspect of our cells at this point. So these are the details that I want us to prepare. We have months and we have the aspect of cells. So anytime you're doing your analysis, my good students, and where you're dealing with the source data, always make sure that whenever you're doing your analysis, whatever that you want to achieve, whatever that you want to target should always be same with what is in our source data. Say, for example, here, we want to do monthly cells. Whatever that I must be having in terms of months should always tally or agree with what you're having in our source data. So if at all you have observed our source data here, the cells literally are on 3 values or 3 letters only for each. See, so then even in our months here, we should be having them in 3 words as they are, where we're having Jan, we're having Feb, we drag it all the way to period December that you want to achieve. See, just come and drag all the way to period December. Whatever that you're having in your source data should always be the same as what you're having, of course, in our summary that we're preparing. That is always a very important element. Now, in our context, you'll find that we have to understand various elements in our syntax. This is what I want us to do. Let us do this together. If we come to our cells, we do equal cells, sum, if, because this is what we want to achieve. Saying, in this case, instead of using pivot table, you're using sum if function to achieve this. So if at all we come to our cells, kindly let us apply this together, all of us. I want us to apply this together so that once we are saying that it is practical, you guys should also be doing it practical. You're saying it is a practical concept, so also you must also be doing it on your end so that you can be able to learn well. So that you can be able to learn well. So these are what you're doing. We input the sum if function in our case. So you do equal sign. We do our equal sign. Sum if. See, we do equal sign, sum if. Moment here. We do equal sign. Then we are conducting what? We are doing a sum if concept. So, just moment. So I believe that all of us, we are doing it together. What is happening with my keyboard? Give me a moment. Let me sort. I don't know. Just with my keyboard here. Okay, that is sorted. I think I had an issue with my keyboard. So this is what you're doing. We are doing like in our syntax, if we do equal sign, then we do what? Sum if. See. So if we click our tab, you'll find that this is our syntax. And in our syntax, we have how many items? We have three main items. That is, we have range, criteria, and aspect of the sum range. So let Molimo explain this syntax. You see exactly what you're having in our syntax. Let me explain this syntax. We've seen we're having our range in our syntax. So what will range entails? So range is simply the range of cells that you want to evaluate. Range of cells that you want to evaluate. Range of cells to evaluate. See, that is our range of cells to evaluate. We have another item that we've realized here. We have more criteria. So anytime you talk about criteria in that syntax, this is simply the condition that determines which cells to sum. This is the condition. The condition that determines, of course, which cell to sum. And we have, of course, another area that we've seen. It is what we are having it as what? As a sum range. So what about my sum range? Sum range in this context, you're looking at, of course, the actual cells to sum. The actual cells to sum. This is what we're referring to as what? The aspect of the sum range. So anytime you're analyzing your data, you must be able to understand these items in our syntax. This is always very important, that anytime you're analyzing your data, probably your manager has given you a task to perform. The manager wants a summary of probably the sales report given these criteria. Maybe I want a summary of sales report in Nairobi. I want summary of sales report probably in Mombasa, or maybe you want summary of sales probably in what? In probably Garissa. So it will be upon you to look at your data and be able to see how you can analyze your data very fast. So in this context of ours, this is what I want us to do. We want to summarize our sales based on a monthly basis. See, so we said we come to where we want to analyze our cells, we do equal sign, then we have sum if. Sum if, we do our tab. We do tab. What do we want to evaluate? That is the range of cells that we want to evaluate. This is our range. We want to evaluate monthly. We want to evaluate monthly cells. We want to evaluate monthly cells. So my range here would be, we come to our month. We need to select up to the last bit. If at all you're having a very huge set of data, remember, you're not supposed to drag like this, like high school children. See, you're not supposed to drag like this. No, this leave it to those who are in high school. This leave it to those who are in high school. The best way to do that, in this case, all you need to do is to come at this point. The shortcut to highlight all cell, kindly let us follow this. The shortcut to highlight, you need to do what? Control, Shift, direction down. Control, Shift, direction down. It will pick the whole set that you want to extract. It will pick the whole set that you want to extract. That is Control, Shift, direction down. Control Shift, direction down. It will pick the whole cell that you want to extract, because our direction is going down. If at all I was going right, same process, Control Shift, direction right. So this will help us to literally pick the whole of this set all together. And I had already shared the Excel shortcut workbook in the group, and I believe that you must be having it. I'd already shared the Excel workbook in the group, which I believe all of us, we should be having it. So once we have this, we do comma. We do comma. Criteria is the condition that determines which cell to sum. This is what we're referring to as criteria. Which cell or what do we want to sum? We want to sum monthly cells. And because we've established it at this point, I'll just click that case. We click January because that is what we want to sum. That is what we want to sum. So we have it at that point. We have it at that point. Then the next important question to ask ourselves, what do we want to achieve? The sum range. What do we want to achieve? The actual cells that we want to sum is literally what? Revenue. So we come to our cells. The shortcut that Mwalimu has guided us is what? I want to highlight all of these columns together without necessarily using the high school way. We are advanced. Yeah, we are advanced. We're not using the high school way. So you do what? Control Shift, direction down. Control Shift, direction down. In that case, you're going to highlight the whole set. You're going to highlight the whole set. Then you just do Enter. Then you just click what? You click Enter. You click Enter. So the moment you click Enter, you'll find that in this case, the sum range. Why are you getting that? Because I've not selected comma, so that is a comma like that, right? So that we have this set. So that we have this set. So this will tell us that in the month of January, we got a value of 34,000 as our sales. Imagine going by that route whereby you are doing it manually, assuming you are doing it manually. You see, in this context, you will be forced to come and analyze, like you do the whole of January, the whole of February, the whole of March. What if your data was scattered? What if the data was scattered? How will you achieve that? How will you achieve that? So this is the first process of doing Sumif. Remember, we've only done for January. We've only done for January. I need a question there. If at all you feel like Mwalimu should repeat again somewhere, the best time to ask is now. If at all you feel Mwalimu should repeat again, this is the best time to ask. If at all you feel.
Okay. Mwalimu, my request is that you repeat again because I've just joined now.
From which process? You must give us where you didn't get well.
Okay, I've just joined now. Now I don't know how far you have gone.
So we've covered a bit. So remember, we can't go back to the main bit because that again will take time. So what I want you to do, so you have the set data, right? Alois?
The Excel that you've posted, you shared, I
you have the data, right?
Yeah.
So what I want you to have, you have that in your machine. Just come and select the months that you've selected like this. Have the months and have the cells just a bit because you can't start from scratch because we've gone so far. Okay. So just prepare your months like that. Then you come and do the cells. I can easily repeat the function. Once you have the months and the cells, I can easily repeat the function, but you cannot go back from scratch. So just have the months and you have what? We have the cells. You have the cells. You have the cells. So you're saying what you want to establish is the monthly cells. What you want to establish is simply the monthly cells. And in establishing the monthly cells, we said it is easy because at this point, our task here is to come and consider our fact that my condition or function that you want to use is what you're referring to as what Sumif. So in this set, what we do equal sign. I think you'll also get it clearly when we'll be doing for daily sales and quarterly sales because procedure is the same. So we're using this function, Sumif. You click tab. The range concept Mwalimu had explained here. The range is simply the cells that you want to evaluate. And the cells that you want to evaluate, these are monthly cells. See, these are literally monthly cells. So for monthly cells, because this is what we want to evaluate, we select the whole of the monthly cells. And what is the shortcut of doing all this? We are not going the traditional way, whatever that you did at your basic. No, we are past that stage. We are past that stage of basic. So we apply our shortcut, which would be Control Shift. Because we want to highlight down, I use my direction down in my keyboard. So Control Shift, it will highlight everything up to the last set, regardless of how huge your data is. Then we do comma. Criteria is the condition that determines which cell to sum. And this condition in this context, we are doing it on a monthly basis. So you select month, then you do comma. You select month, then you do comma. There is item in our range that you can see it is a sum range. So sum range is simply the actual cell that you want to sum. And the actual cell that you want to sum, it is the daily cells. So this is what you want to sum. This is what we want to sum. So again, you come at that point, Control Shift, direction down. Control Shift, direction down. Then you do what? You do enter. Then you do enter. So you find that in that context, of course, it will give us what? It will give us that set. So I think you're also going to get it clearly when you'll be doing what? When you'll be looking at, of course, the other element of what? The other element of daily and total cells. So once this has been achieved, I want us to understand this area of freezing. What is the main essence of us locking ourselves? As I've guided you on our first segment, we say that you will be communicating with Excel. It is upon you to give the Excel the instruction on what it's supposed to do. It is upon you to give Excel instruction on what it is supposed to do. So in our case, we want to tell Excel that, you know what, I want you to maintain this formula all through. Don't change anything. Say, for example, assuming we are doing this without commanding Excel, what will be the output? Kindly let us observe this, all of us together. The easiest way would be to drag. So let us drag without locking the cells. I just pick, I'll go to this area here. See, we are going to go to our cell. Then we see the thick cross on the bottom cell. Then I just do what? I drag. See, or you double click. At times, it can give us the same results. But I want you to observe something here. I want you to observe this. See, I want you to observe something. Something I want us to observe. If I click, say, for this case, and you try to follow the path. If at all you follow your path, you realize that there are some cells that Excel has skipped. You see, if you just drag like that automatically, you realize that there are some cells Excel has skipped. The same case, if you come to say like April, what will you realize? You realize that, at this point, there's some area that Excel is keeping. It is not picking. So that the moment you're in December, you'll find that, yes, the formula has been dragged, but all of these items have been skipped from our formula. And imagine, assuming our data was scattered, meaning that the output will not be correct. The essence now of us bringing the lock component is I want to tell Excel that, you know what, I want to achieve this specific output, but kindly Excel maintain the same formula that I had used at start. That is what you're telling Excel. That kindly Excel maintain the same output that I had placed at start. don't change my formula. Don't change my formula. That is what you're telling Excel. So what are we supposed to log? We are supposed to log, my good students, items that are common. Anytime you are having your data, always consider the items that are common. These are the items that you're supposed to log. The items that do change, don't bother with them. Whatever that you need to log, simply consider the items that are literally remaining constant. These are the items that you're supposed to maintain the same formula. So like in our case here, we can see the range is same. Criteria is the one that is changing. And the sum range is same. So I want us to log the range and the sum range because they are constant all through. So how will we go about it? We click in our formula, highlight our range. Just highlight our range. You highlight this range. See. Then you click what? Of course, you click F4. In your keyboard, look at where the functions key, where we have F4. In your keyboard, look at where we have what? F4, function 4. So you highlight, first of all, what you want to log. After highlighting what you want to log, you just click what? F4. You just click F4. That will help you to log your set. That will help you to log your set. If at all F4 is not functioning independently, you can click Fn and F4 at the same time. You can click F4 and Fn at the same time if you realize F4 is not working independently. Just click Fn in your keyboard and F4 at the same time if F4 is not working independently. We also realize that the sum range will also be constant. If sum range will also be constant, what will we be expected to do? Again, we need to log that part. And how do we log? You click F4. You click F4. In this case, you're telling Excel that, you know what, kindly maintain the same formula that I had at start without changing anything. That is what you're telling Excel. That maintain the exact concept without changing anything. Enter. Yes, please.
When you say that the range is constant, for example, in the data that we have, kindly just explain it using the data there. While you're using the term, it is constant.
Sure, no worries. Range is constant because you'll find that say for example, like the range, you see, the months based on criteria that you want to run, the months will not change. You see the whole of this range up to the last bit. It is literally the same range. We are not shifting from range. We are not shifting from cell E to cell F. We're not shifting from column E to column F. The column that you are looking at will be the same column that I'm going to perform the test on all these months. The same case with cells. When you're saying that cells is constant, if I told you to look at our cells values, the cells value from serial number 1 up to the last serial, the cells remain on the same column. They are not changing on different columns. And the criteria or the test that you want to run, we want to run up to the last day that is December, using the same range. We are not changing the range. The range is constant. But if at all you can check on criteria, February is not the same as January. March is not the same as February. August, it is not the same as April. So if at all I want the results for February, it will not be the same as results of October. And that's why we are leaving criteria open, because criteria is changing. It's changing from January, February, Feb, all the way to December. So that's why Mwalimu is saying that, the range area is constant and the sum range is constant, because it is the same column that I am using to extract my results. So that's what Mwalimu means when you say constant and the other one is changing. Jack, is that okay?
Okay, Mwalimu.
Great. So once we've achieved that, the next important element will be what? Drag it down and see. So we just autofill. By autofilling, we just double click that thick cross. So the moment I'm here, say like if at all I go to August, you see, once I've logged, it is literally picking the whole set compared to what you are getting earlier on. Remember earlier on when you're clicking August, there are some cells that were left blank. There are some cells that Excel was keeping. It was not incorporating this in our what? In our formula. But once I've locked my formula, I've given instruction to Excel, and I've told Excel that, you know what, kindly maintain this same formula going all the way to what we want to achieve. So in this case, you can easily determine and say that, at this point, what we've achieved total sales on a monthly basis. Total sales on a monthly basis. Sales on a monthly basis. Sales on a monthly basis. See, the next item, Alois, because you missed the first bit, be very keen here if at all you're having the data. So now we want on a daily sales. So we come daily sales, and we have our sales. If at all I'm determining the daily sales, make sure that whatever value that you're having on your variable where you want to run your test should be exactly the same as what you're having in our source data. So if you come to our source data, my days are also arranged in 3 words. Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, all through. See, look at this case. Observe this kindly. Assuming that, say, in the month of March, instead of me picking the exact set as what I'm having on my source data, assuming I put, say, like my whole set, like in this context, we come and select, say, like the whole details as it is, where, for example, we're saying that in this context, instead of, say, February, we come and select what? Instead of Feb using 3 words, I come and say February. I want you to see the impact. You see? Excel will not recognize that because this is now a foreign item which is not in our source data. So Excel will not recognize that. And that's why you're saying at this point you have to put the exact details as what you're having in our source data. So the same case for daily sales, I want us to achieve this. We want to do from Monday all the way to Sunday. And I can see it is what? 3 words element. So we do, this is Monday. This is Tuesday. I drag it all the way to Sunday. I drag it all the way to Sunday. I drag it all the way to Sunday. See, we drag it all the way to Sunday. We drag it all the way to Sunday. So once at this point, what will you be required to do? The same procedure will apply. The same procedure will apply. I want us to achieve that together. Your task now, do for Mwalimu. Give me the total from our source data. We want to determine Mondays, what were the cells that we generate? Tuesdays, what are the total cells that we generated? All the way up to Sundays, all the way up to Sunday. Use the same script, use the same steps that Monimo shared with us. I want us to achieve that right now. I know it's something that we can achieve. I know it's something that we can achieve very fast. I know we can achieve that. 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 Give me that, give me the results. And once you achieved, you raise your hands. Once you achieve the output, you raise your hands. Once you've achieved that, kindly raise your hand. Once you've achieved that, raise your hand. Once you've achieved that, raise your hand. Good, good. Once you've achieved that, you raise your hand and tell Mwalimu, Mwalimu, I have achieved that. Good. Okay, let me share the question. I have to close so that I can share. Let me save, let me share. Yeah, someone did not have that, so I have to close this so that I can share. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. Check on the chat. The document though I'd shared in the group. Jack, I'm not sure if at all you hadn't seen it on the group, but the same was shared in the group. But let me just share on the chat here. I've shared on the chat, confirm. I've shared on the chat. I've shared on the chat. You can confirm that. I've shared on the chat. You can confirm. Great. So once you can see Felix. Felix has achieved. Anyone else? I can see Felix has achieved that. Felix is done. Anyone else? Anyone else? Let us try to be a bit. Yeah. Good. I can see Roda. Roda's achieved that. Good. Good. Roda's achieved that. Good. 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 Anyone else who has achieved that? You're preparing for daily cells. This is what you want to achieve. This is what you want to achieve. The daily cells. That's what you want to achieve. 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 So the same procedure applies. We use what? Equal sign Sumif tab. My range now, it is our daily cells. So from our source data, we come to our days. use the shortcut that Mwalimu has guided us, Control Shift direction down. We do comma. All we want to take in this context would be, of course, my criteria now. Criteria is our days. Criteria is our days. We do comma. Sum range, it is our cells. Sum range, it is our cells. So Control Shift direction down. Then we do enter. So by this fact, we can literally observe that we had made cells in January, or rather Monday. The total cells that we made on Monday, we have a value of 93,100. The next step is to do what? Is to lock our cells. Yeah. So you come and lock what will remain constant, which in this case we have our range and we have our sum range. See, range and sum range will remain constant. Enter. So that once you've achieved that, I make sure that I've seen this thick cross below my cell, then I just double click. I double click. It will give us the total. It will give us, of course, the total cells. It will give us the total cells. It will give us the total cells. Give us the total cells. See? That is what we have. So once that has been achieved, now without Mwalimu's help, do for me for quarterly cells. Quarter, which in this case you have quarter 1, and make sure that it exactly as what you have in here. So you're having Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So
Mwalimu, how far
Q1,
are we?
yeah. So you have a question. About someone talking. Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So kindly do for Mwalimu using Sumifs, determine the cells. Quarter 1 cells, quarter 2 cells, quarter 3 cells, quarter 4 cells. Let us do that. Let us do that. I know we can achieve that now. Without Mwalimu's help, I know we can achieve that. Because now it is the same procedure that you're repeating. It is the same procedure that you're repeating. It is the same procedure that you're repeating. It is the same procedure that we are repeating. It is the same procedure that you're repeating. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that. Once you've achieved, kindly raise your hand. Tell Mwalimu have achieved that. Using the same procedure, once you've achieved, just raise your hand. Tell Mwalimu have achieved that. So that we can go to another interesting bit.
What about
Good. Yvonne has achieved that. Good. You can see Yvonne has achieved that. Rhoda has achieved that. Very good. Yeah, Ball has achieved that. Ah, very good. Very good. At least right now the pace is good. The pace is good. You can see now the pace is good. The pace is good. You're achieving that quick, fast. Yeah. Great, great. Lincoln has achieved. Yeah, we're achieving that quick, fast. The way Manchester United were taken down quick, fast. Good, good, good. Good, 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 good. Very good, very good, very good. Jack has achieved that. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. That is good. That is very good. So this is what you're doing, yeah? Sumif, tab, range, and overall, now I'm looking at quarter. So we use our shortcut, Control Shift Direction down. In this case, of course, we do comma. After doing comma, we look at our criteria. Criteria in this case, of course, we come and check what we want to consider here is, of course, the quarter that you are taking. So this is quarter one. I do comma. The cells, I need summary of cells. So if at all you come to summary of cells, Control Shift Direction down, enter. Great. I know very well to maintain this, I need to lock. So we come and lock our key areas, which are literally our range. So we come and lock, of course, the range, F4. Yeah, we come and lock our range. That is, we do this, double click here, light, we do, of course, F4. The same case, I'll come and lock here, F4. Enter. I drag it down. So that eventually, even if I told you to do the throttle, maybe the manager wants to confirm that whatever that you've achieved is literally correct. You'll find that the manager now will just be doing what? The manager will just do the throttle. And how will you do the throttle? Alt equals sign. Instead of using the manual way, where you want to determine the throttle, at this point, see, at this point, you come and do what? You come and do Alt equals sign. It will sum up whatever value that you want to achieve. Alt equals sign, enter. Alt equals sign, enter. The shortcut for summation, yeah? So you realize that, then the result is correct, because if at all you can see the total value, they are exactly the same. The total value, they are matching both for month, daily, and as well as what? Quarterly cells. They are matching. They are matching, meaning that the detail is correct. Meaning that the detail is correct. So this one, yes, please.
For me, in quarter, I was having a challenge. I did everything, but when I was getting now the value it is when I click enter, it was not coming, but I've done using the correct formula, correct method. So I don't know. It's giving me an error value, hash value.
Where exactly? Which quarter?
In sales, when I was doing the first quarter. So I could get the, yes.
you just check whatever that you've selected in terms of, if at all you look at your syntax, check if at all you've taken the range in terms, or how have you written your quota, small letters or
I wrote, I just took Q, then I write 1 beside it, then Q2,
caps,
then
or
the other
small letters or caps, capital or
caps,
small?
caps.
Then,
Yeah. Then I gave them 1, then 2, then the other, I dragged the other quota 3 and 4.
So if you get your total sales, what are you achieving?
It is not coming. When I'm trying to now put the enter, it's not coming. It's giving,
what is not coming exactly?
The totals. It's giving me, let me just take a picture maybe and send in WhatsApp.
Share the pic on WhatsApp, we see. Because if I click that formula first, I want to come here, what you do before we send, go to the formula, click like that. Click the formula like that and share once you click that formula, we see what you have.
Okay.
Click that, we see what you have. The rest, are we achieving the same output? Great. So you realize that whenever you're dealing with this concept, is, I'm waiting for you to share. So whenever you're dealing with this concept is literally the concept of Sumif, we just understand these variables that Mwalimu was talking about here. You see, like understand when are we talking about the range, criteria, and aspect of what? The sum range, and the aspect of the sum range. Once you're able to understand that, then our task here will always be very easy, of course. Higher. The next bit, we go a notch further. If you click enter, Felix, now, so you can see you just done it. Click enter. In this
If
case,
I click,
you just click equal sign. You have no Sumif, you just click equal sign. I'm not seeing the Sumif function. You said you have to put Sumif first. See, what you've done yourself, you just come and taken equal sign. Then you've come and placed, you've come and took the range. What you've done is what you've done. See, you've done equal sign, you've come and placed your range. This is what you've done. Comma, whatever that you placed, then you've come and taken on that syntax. This is what you've done. You've come and taken this, then comma, you've come and taken what? Of course, your cells. See what you've done? So of course, you'll get this error. But once on that formula, you need to do what? You need to do equal sign, sum if. See. You'll achieve the results. So for you, you just do equal sign without putting sum if concept. That is your error, Felix. If you put sum if, you've definitely achieved what you've achieved. Try that and see. Try that.
Mwalimu, take us through the, remind me how to lock the cells.
Locking the cells, you highlight the range or whatever that you want to lock, you just highlight. Then you do what? You click F4. Say, for example, in our case here, let me unfreeze this. Same procedure for unfreezing. Ideally, your data is like this. See, ideally, your data is unlocked. Like in this context, the 4. So this is how your data is. See, so we highlight what you want to lock. Then you do F4. If F4 is not working out independently, you click function. Function is Fn. If you check your keyboard, we have Fn, then F4 at the same time. In that case, you'll be able to lock your set. You go to lock your set. in this case, we're dealing with one criteria. Now we have advanced. Go to sheet 1, whatever that I had shared on sheet 1. Go to sheet 1, the data that I shared in sheet 1. Go to sheet 1, that data that I shared in sheet 1, kindly. We go to sheet 1. We go to sheet 1. We go to sheet 1. So in this case, of course, now we have advanced, right? Now we've advanced because Sumif, we just introduced to Sumif. Now, what if I am having different criteria? What would be our results where we are dealing with, I'm not dealing with only one criteria, but we're having several criteria that we are looking at. See, we're looking several criteria. So like in this case, I want us to achieve our case. I want us to achieve what is the task? Let us determine total revenue generated from say from the central region. Total revenue generated from the central region. Total revenue generated, say, from the central region, yeah? From the central region. From the central region. And the item is pencil. Where the item is pencil. You're doing your summary, you're doing your analysis. You're doing your analysis. See, so we want to determine this to be our number 1, whereby we want to do our analysis based on this specific region, which is literally central region. That is what we want to do our analysis on, central region. Then probably task 2 would be, after that, we can do for all regions. Then we do, in this case, we perform the same case, revenue for all regions, revenue for all regions, see, revenue for all regions, where the item is pencil. Then task 2, in this case, we want to determine, say like, we want to determine the number of units, say like your manager has tasked you with the responsibility to determine, say like how many units did say who? We take Jones, yeah? How many units did Jones sell? Excluding, see? Excluding, say, pencil item. These are tasks that you can literally meet in the practical, in field. Literally, on the practical scenario, you can have this task whereby you're tasked to determine all these items. Say, you're tasked to determine this set. You're tasked in determining these sets. See, you literally have it now in practice. You are having a data set from the organization, then you're tasked to determine these queries. See, so in this context, we want to use what we are referring to Sumifs. Remember what we've done here on the first segment, we've literally looked at what? Sumif, where I was dealing with one criteria, where we were dealing with one criteria. So what if we are dealing with multiple criteria? So Sumifs, my good students, at this point you need to understand, it is where, like, we are looking at multiple conditions instead of what? One condition. Because at this point, remember when you're looking at the Sumifs, we clearly agreed that we want to sum numbers based on a specific criteria, which ideally that criteria is a condition. So sum ifs in this context, what we are looking at, we want to determine the sum of numbers based on multiple conditions. This is multiple conditions. Multiple conditions. See, multiple conditions. Multiple conditions. So let us do this. The first task, we are tasked with the responsibility of determining the total revenue generated from central region where the item is pencil. Where the item is pencil. I want us all to do this. Same procedure of sum if, but now we are looking at what? Ifs. So how will we go about it? Equal sign, sum ifs. We take ifs now. Instead of if, we take ifs. Multiple condition. We take ifs, multiple condition. So sum ifs. See? Sum ifs.
How can I achieve that, Mwalimu?
Yeah?
How can I achieve that sum ifs?
It's just the same case as what we were doing earlier on. Like, see, earlier on you're typing, you're doing, this is what you're doing, yeah? We're doing equal sign, sum, if. See, but right now we are adding ifs. Equal sign, sum, ifs. Then you click our tab. Then you click our tab. We click our tab. So, just like what we did, you'll find that whenever we're looking at the sum range, this is the range of cells we want to add up. See, in our syntax, we have a sum range. So sum range is simply the range of cells that you want to add up. What do you want to add up? Revenue. Revenue. So you come to our revenue. The shortcut is Control Shift Direction down. Control Shift Direction down. Control Shift Direction down. We do comma. Criteria range. 1. We have central and we have pencil. So the criteria range 1, we can go with the region. We can go with the region. A moment here. We can go with the region. That's what we want to achieve. Region 1. See, what we are achieving is the region part. So in this case, you're saying we go and select our region. So we come at this point. This is our region, yeah? So Control Shift Direction down, comma. Criteria 1. In region, what are we looking at? In region, we are looking at central. In region, we are looking at central. I guided you the first day when we introduced this bit of advanced Excel. We said, anytime I am putting, remember what we did under the aspect of if. anytime I am putting a text in my syntax, I must have an opening quote. Central. I close my quote. I close my quote. We do comma. This will take us to criteria range 2. This will take us to criteria range 2. Criteria range 2, it is which criteria we are looking at? We are looking at pencil. And where is pencil falling? Pencil is falling under our item here. Pencil is falling under our item. So the same procedure, I do Control Shift direction down, comma. What is that specific item that you're looking in that range? The specific item you want to achieve in that range is pencil. So open quote, pencil. Then you close. Enter. See? It will tell us that from how huge your data is, we have literally established this to our manager or the person who wants this data. We can easily say that, you know what, the total revenue that we generated from central region, or the number of sales item in relation to pencil that we generated from central region is what? Is this much. And you have your report. And you have the report. And you have the report. See, that is what we have. That is what we have. That is what we have. Total revenue generated from the central region where the item is pencil. So if I only check the central region, and now we want to establish
Madam,
the total revenue that this item gave us. Yes, please.
Kindly put the cursor on the answer. I want to see the formula.
Sure, that is okay, no worries.
Yeah.
This is what we have, this is what we have. This is what we have. This is what we have, this is what we have. A very interesting bit. Very, very interesting bit. So make sure that we're achieving that. Make sure that we're achieving that. Make sure that you're achieving that. Make sure that you're achieving that. Make sure that we are achieving that. My good students, now this is what I want you to do. I want you to do for me specific item. You're looking at pencil. Now we're looking at the whole of this region where we're having central. We have the other region of what? We have central, we have west, and we have east. So give me the total revenue that we generated from pencil. Revenue that we generated from pencil. Revenue that we generated from pencil. Quick, fast, quick, fast, quick, fast. Quick, fast, quick, fast. Assuming you are taking Manchester down, assuming you're taking Manu down, quick, fast, like that. Quick, fast like that. Assuming you're taking Manchester down. Quick, fast like that. Or assuming you are like the next season team. Yeah? Assuming you're the next season team. Always very fast to celebrate, but we know always the outcome. You are the next season team. You're the next season team, yeah? And you can achieve that, you can achieve that. I know you can achieve that. Quick, fast. Can do that. We can do that. Give me that. If I told you're done, you just, of course, Lincoln has already achieved that. West 231, of course, we have East 363. That is what Link is giving us. Yeah, that is good. Lincoln must be a Chelsea fan. Anyone else? Let us see. Let's try to achieve that. Senadi. Yeah, prayers might be hard one of these days, of course. Lincoln. Yeah, prayers will be hard one of these days. So this is what you're doing. So we are doing, of course, Sumifs, of course, tab. So my sum range, of course, will not change. So this time around is a sum range control shift down. In this context, of course, I can be able to do comma. In this case, you're looking at our criteria 1, criteria range 1, criteria range 1. Of course, we are looking at our region here. So of course, we do region, which in this context, my region clearly, you can see, of course, we have the item region, control shift down, comma. Now looking at the criteria 1, because we have it already here, so to do just select that, then comma. See, we have, of course, criteria range 2, which criteria range 2, we're doing a specific item, which is our item range, control shift, comma. In this case, we need to achieve specific item, which is what? Which is our pencil. So open quote, we type pencil, close quote. And I know very well that now, because you have this range, so the best idea will always be to lock them. You lock the ranges, you lock the ranges, you lock the ranges. We lock the range because the range will be constant all through. Now I know in morning history about locking, all of us are able to lock a 4 or function a 4 at the same time. So that you just drag it like that. See? Control T, you can insert our table automatically, and this is the output that we have, right? See, so what we've done, we've simply, of course, achieved our case. That is, for each and every region, we can literally say that, you know what, in Central, pencil generated for us this much. West region, pencil generated for us this much. East region, pencil generated for us this much. You can easily establish that. 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 See, you can easily establish that. So that once that has been achieved, we look at how many units did John sells, excluding pencil. Excluding pencil. So at this point, just introducing us a bit to some of the language that we'll be using in our PDA. So this is what we are looking at. The same case, we're looking at how many criteria? We're looking at 2 conditions. You're having the salesperson and you're having a specific item. So we want to determine what was the total number of sales that this person made, but in this case, I want to exclude pencil. I want to exclude pencil. So kindly let us follow this procedure, all of us. Let us follow this procedure, all of us. We do equal sign, sum ifs. See, sum ifs tab. Sum range will not change. Revenue, comma. Criteria range 1, we're looking at region, that not region per se, but we're looking at individuals now. So these are the reps, sales reps, control shift, direction down, comma. Criteria, we're looking at specific person who is Jones. So we said anytime I am inputting a text on my syntax, I open close quote, Jones, I close quotes, comma, criteria range 2. Criteria range 2, we are looking at our item now. The item is our range. So range 2, control shift direction down. I know now we are proficient in that. Comma. Criteria 2, excluding pencil. So we open bracket, and in our case, when we read about, of course, creating a break or excluding in Excel, we use what? We use these signs. So shift, less than sign, and greater than sign. We input the signs. We said opening quote, less than, greater than, then we type the item that you want to exclude. Pencil is what you want to exclude. Pencil is what you want to exclude. So follow that syntax. Some ifs, that will just remain instant or constant like that. We have to take the criteria that you have in criteria range. 1, in this case, we are dealing with the sales rep. Specific item, this was John's. Criteria range 2, in this case, we are dealing with items, and we wanted to exclude pencil. We are excluding pencil. We are excluding pencil. So we put the signs, the way Monimo was indicated, then you type pencil. So that in that case, we do what? Enter. For all, we have confirm if at all you're getting that, or if at all you're getting a different value, we say excluding pencil. Same value, different values. Confirm. Same value, different values. Confirm. In this case, that was cells. In this case, we've done cells. In our case, you asked Eunice. Yes, Yvonne, you're having a question? Yvonne has raised a hand. Yes, Yvonne, we've seen your hand.
Sorry, I don't have a question.
Okay, great. So this is revenue. So I want you guys to give me units. Now, whatever that you're asked. This is revenue. Now, what about units? Give me the units now. How many units did John sell excluding pencil items? These are the total revenue that John's generated excluding pencil. So I want you to give me units. I want you to give me units. Now what you're asked there, whatever that you've done for revenue. So give me the total number of units that John sold excluding pencil. Excluding pencil. Excluding pencil. Excluding pencil. Excluding pencil. You can achieve that. You do that, you do that, you do that. Morimo is waiting for that. At least one person must have gotten that. Anyone who has achieved that? I can see Yvonne good, Lincoln good. The rest. Yvonne and Lincoln has given us 266. So let us see. So what I'm going to do, I didn't log this one, so I can just lock these items of ours here. I lock these items, but anyway. So starting from scratch, we're having Sumifs, of course, tab, sum range. We're looking at the quantity. These are the units. We are considering, of course, the criteria range 1, which in this context, we're looking at, of course, the sales rep. So this is control shift direction down, comma. Specific person that we are considering in this context, we are looking at Jones. Comma. So in this case, of course, we look at criteria range 2, which are our items now. Comma. We have criteria 2 in this context. We have, of course, criteria 2. In this case, we want to exclude pencil. So opening quote, we want to exclude pencil. That's what we are excluding. In this case, we're looking at what units. See, so that is good. 266. 266. See, so this is to say you can literally use Excel to manipulate so many things. You can literally use Excel to manipulate so many things. See, so many things. You can use Excel to manipulate a lot of concepts here. See, so once this has been achieved, the next element will also be important.
Yes, Mwalimu.
Yes, please.
I'm requesting if you can place the cursor on the Nini 266.
Sure, no worries. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So that once that has been achieved, of course, we are now sailing on a very good boat. So the next item that I want us to go to look at is a component of count. See, the aspect of we need to. So these are a bit basic, but just good to remind ourselves. I know countif is what we can consider probably in advanced, but the countifs where I'm having different criteria. But in this case, probably you want to establish a role of the number of items that, or the number of times that, in this case, maybe you want to give a commission and you need to establish probably a KPI that you're supposed to use, so that you need to have a KPI that you're supposed to use to enable you to determine the base commission that you're going to charge, or maybe simply to make various decisions in terms of promotion or in terms of transferring the rest. See, so we want to establish in a whole set of data, how many times did someone do something? say, given a specific condition. And we can as well look at multiple conditions. See, so in this case, let me introduce to you what we normally refer to as count if. Let Mwalimu introduce to us what we normally refer to as count if, a very important element. Count if. See, so you find that count if in this context, this function that we are referring to as count if. See, so count if, what will it help us to do? It will help us to count the number of cells in a range. See, it will help us to count the number of cells in a range that probably meet a certain criteria. Say meet us, because it is one, we can talk about single criteria for now. Single criteria or condition that you are considering. See, this condition. So you want to establish like whatever that I'm having. In this case, we are looking at what meets what. See, specific item that you're looking at. So let us have this, maybe let us have this task. So in our case, probably, let us see, we can take select Kivel, for example. I want us to determine the number of times Kivel made cells. Find the total number, find the total number of times, find the total number of times, find the total number of times Kivel has made cells. Find the total number of times Kivel has made cells. Find the total number of times Kivel has made cells. Find the total number of times Kivel has made cells. So you'll find that in this case, my goodness, it's just like what we did. I think I'd shown you, but though roughly when you were looking at the if function. So the number of times that Kivel made cells. See? So how do you go about it? We do equal sign, count if, count if. See, so in our syntax, you see that we're having range and we have criteria. So range is simply the group of cells that you want to evaluate, whereas criteria is simply, of course, the condition that determines which cell that you want to count. See, which cell that we want to count. Say, for example, at this point, we want to determine how many number of times did Kivel made cells. So my range, we are looking at the cell strength. So Control Shift down, comma. Whom are we considering? We want to consider Kivel. And we've said anytime I'm having a text in our syntax, we open it. So we have Kivel. See? Then enter. So the number of times that Kivel made cells. The number of times that Kivel made cells. The number of times that Kivel made cells, therefore you can see it is what? 4 times. From the whole set, the first metric that you can identify, if maybe I want to give a commission or maybe promotion, is how frequent do you normally make your cells? Kivel, you can see it is 4 times. Can you give me for Morgan? Give me for Smith. We do for Jill and Jones. The number of times that each salesperson made cells. The number of times that each salesperson made cells. I want you to achieve this so that you can also look at count ifs. I want you to achieve this Let us do this fast. I know you can do that fast. Let us try to do that very fast. You can do that very fast. I know you can do that. Let us try to do that very, very fast. I know you can do that, and you can do that, and you can do that. And when you're having a question, make sure you ask, don't hesitate. If you're having a question, make sure you ask, don't hesitate, kindly. If you're having a question, don't hesitate. If you're having a question, don't hesitate. Hmm? If you're having a question, don't hesitate. Kindly, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate, don't hesitate. Should be having something, should be having something, should be having something. Should be having something, should be having something. Same procedure applies, by the way. Same procedure applies. You don't need to struggle. You don't need to struggle. Same procedure applies. Morgan 3, Smith 3, Jill 5, Jones. That is good. 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 So that same procedure applies. Actually, I won't do that because it is still the same case as what you have in here. Or what you can do, simply I can literally lock this bit. Then I copy paste this one here. Then what I'm going to do, I just select these individuals, yeah. Drag like that. Good. So that is what, of course, we need to achieve. What if now we're looking at different criteria? What if now probably we are looking at different criteria? Say like we can have two criteria. Say how many times did Jill, how many times did Jill, how many times did Jill sell pencils? How many times did Jill sell pencils? So here we are looking at count ifs. See, we are having more than one criteria. So you're looking at count ifs. You're looking at count ifs. More than one criteria. More than one criteria. Count ifs. More than one criteria. So in this case, you'll find that it counts as that means multiple conditions. Count ifs. So in this context, you're looking at what? Multiple conditions. Multiple conditions. Multiple conditions. So, like in this context, how would you go about it? Same concept, equal sign, we have count ifs. See, now instead of if, we're using multiple ifs. So count ifs. Count ifs. See? Count ifs. So, of course, criteria one, we're looking at Jill and we're having pencil. So criteria range one, we're looking at the sales rep. Comma. Criteria, this specific person that you're considering is Jill. This is a specific person that you are looking at, Jill. You do comma. Criteria range two, these are pencils. So pencils, in this case, it is under item. Control shift, it is under item, comma. We are looking at specific item, which is pencil. So open quote, pencil, close quote. So we can agree and say that the number of times that Jill made sales and it was pencils, he made only what? 2 times. The frequency that he made sales and they were pencils, in this case, you're having 2 times. We're having 2 times. 2 times. So the same task can be repeated to all these other persons. The same task can be repeated to all these other persons. See? Imagine this just, but of course, a bit of scratch of what advanced Excel entails. So next time, now we'll jump into the aspect of what is majorly used, of course, in our offices. And in that case, we'll also be having data to evaluate.
The phone raised.
Yes. Question?
Nani ameona ngolo yangu?
So in that case, Mwalimu is saying that, of course, the next bit you're going to look at a whole concept to do with the aspect of lookup functions. Remember, when you introduce this case, you say that we'll be having various functions. Amongst the main, of course, we'll also be doing about the lookup functions. And in that case, I think other than just looking lookup functions, we can go ahead and look at the financial functions as well. The concept of NPVs, the concept of IRR, then this one we're going to look at in the next session. So I'm going to share this Excel workbook. I'm going to share this Excel workbook, of course, in our group. Try to manipulate this data. You have the data, it's already, because I know getting the data to train with is always a task. But once you have the data that you can use to train, kindly, I want you to manipulate and use this data as much as you can. Try to come up with situations and solve them using what we've studied, both the Sumifs, the aspect of countifs, Sumif. That will be of a very great help for us. So kindly consider that. Train with this data as much as you can, because where we are heading or where we are right now, as I mentioned to you, advanced Excel concept is very important, but things for presentation are shifting, and that's why we're having what Power Business Intelligence, which now will help us in terms of presentation and analyzing our data. But again, for you to be able to have a very good concept in Power BI, we also noted that advanced Excel knowledge is also very critical. So in this context, manipulate and use the data as many times as you want. So to that point, probably any question before Mwalimu shares a good night? Any question? Any question? Aha, great.
Excuse me.
Yes, Felix.
That is one of the things that you are doing, and just in that sheet where we were getting for Morgan Smith, there is a way you got as shortcut. I've tried applying that shortcut in this, not working.
Oh, where we just copied. I think this is what you're saying. Felix is very keen to details. Yeah. So this is what we did. Like see, we had already done the first one. So actually, what initially is what we had, right? So what I did, we did already for Kivel. So first of all, I've come and locked the set so that it will maintain the same formula. So after locking, I've come and copy pasted it at that point. And in that case, I've just come and edited Kivel, and now I'm picking these guys directly because now I'm not typing the text because the text is already there. So I'll just pick it there. I do enter, then I drag it all the way, and you have the output. That is what Mwalimu did. I think that was a question, Felix. Yeah.
Thank you. That is the question.
Great. So you guys have a very good night. Of course, see you on a Tuesday for advanced Excel class as well.
Lim, I have a request.
Yes, Jack.
I'm requesting maybe if you can add me to the group. Then the next question, I'm asking how much do you charge for BDA classes?
Of BDA classes, we have two packages. The first package is where you control your timetable. That is a pre-recorded version. Currently, up to Monday, there's an offer of 6,000. Ideally, original price is usually like 7,500. So that's the first package. The other package is where you attend our classes. Let me just show you where you attend our classes. That is, you attend the classes, and at the same time, you get access to the recorded version. So these are what you have. Just a moment here. So if you go to our platform, that is app.mdarasa.com. So once you've created your account, of course, on the platform, we search here. So we come to CPA. So I need to search business data analytics. See, so this is the offer price is 6K, where you get access to all the resources, including past papers, class notes, revision, companion. You'll also be accessing whatever that you're doing for the current semester. You'll also be accessing the same. That is live recorded class for that semester. We also have now classes recorded topic-wise. You want to study utilizing keyboard shortcuts. Because it is practical, you get the video and you also get the Excel that you're using, which you can literally download the Excel to use anytime. So this package, we charge 6K. That is the offer price up to Monday, but ideally it is usually 7,500. Then if at all you want to attend class, at the same time, get access to this recorded version, the offer price up to Monday, we are charging 8K, but original price is usually 9,000. So those are our packages. Whereas for this group, I'm going to add you right now, Jack. Just text me on our number 0708068851. I add you. Question answered, Jack?
Repeat the number.
Or 0708 07
0708
068
068.
851.
Okay, thank you. And maybe the last question: what is the difference between the recorded classes and the nini?
And the live virtual.
Yes.
So the whole difference is that for the live virtual, of course, you'll have a chance to interact with Mwalimu on a real-time basis. And you'll also be given more assignments as well as more follow-ups. For pre-recorded version, yes, you have the recorded version You can also interact with your colleagues because they are a group for the same. And in this case, the difference is the level of interaction with the lecturer. For live is more compared to the recorded version because live is real time, but for recorded version, at least you can text a question, then you arrange a session for us to look at it. That is actually the main difference. But whichever benefit that the student who is attending live is getting, you're also going to get. That is the main.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great. Any other question? Aha, great. So you guys have a very good night. See you in our next segment for Power BI. For those doing CPA, of course, you can